All in Siman Chav Ches, Sif Yud Zayin. Tonight we spoke about the din of Achar L'Shesh B'Sakana. So Achar L'Shesh B'Sakana, you allowed everything to be Mechal Shabbos to save him. Sif Yud Zayin, we're talking about Achar L'Shesh Nafal Machmas Chayil L'Mishkav, says the Mechaber, someone who's sick, and because of that, he's in bed. He doesn't leave his house, is what the Chaim explained it. But there's no sakana, no sakana's chayim, he'll definitely live, but he's not full of mishkav. Haga, b'sheyesh le'mechish ha'mitztav v'cholam men kol gufay. If he has a mechish, someone's bothering him, a pain, ha'mitztav v'cholam men kol gufay. His whole guf is sick. Even though this person happens to be walking around, but he is considered a nafal l'mishka. So basically, the halacha is this case is somebody who should be in bed, even though this person happens not to be in bed. But it's a chayla that most people stay in bed for. It's called the chayla she'ein bo sakana. So what's the halacha in that case?
So the Ramah is not arguing with him, probably he's just adding another dimension.
Yeah, he's not arguing with him. It's called gufay, and he should be in bed, even though he happens to be walking around. The Agdara that Chaim gave, like we said before, is Agdara of somebody who usually stays home, doesn't go to shul, let's say, Shabbos. He's home because he's sick. So in that case, Oimrim la'akum, lasas le'refuah, you're allowed to tell a goy to do a malacha for him. Here it says even a malacha d'oraisa. Aval ein mechal olam as a Shabbos b'isser d'oraisa. We cannot do an isser d'oraisa to help him out. Only a goy is allowed to do a malacha d'oraisa for the chayla. Afilu yesh bo sakanas aver. Even if it's a sakanas aver here, meaning he may lose a limb, a Yisrael cannot do an isser d'oraisa. A goy could do an Issa Deraisa. But Yisrael is never allowed to do an Issa Deraisa if it's not Yesh Bei Sakana. Now, this is all talking about a guy. Well, the Chalel Allah of Yisrael, the Issa Derabanan, V'yadayim, how about Yisrael? So Yisrael cannot do an Issa Deraisa, we said. Clear. How about a guy, a Yisrael, to do an Issa Derabanan for Chodesh Ein Bei Sakana? Well, the Chalel Allah of Yisrael, the Issa Derabanan, V'yadayim, for Yisrael to do an Issa d'Rabbanan, Yesh Matirim, Afilu Ein Bei Sakanas Aver. Some people are matir, even if there's no Sakanas Aver. Meaning, you see from the Shloshim, that a Sakanas Aver is more of a reason to be lenient. Sakanas Aver is a higher level that we could do malachas for him over a Chodesh Ein Bei Sakana. So we said that he could do Issa D'Rabbanan, according to the Shita, even though there's no Sakanas Aver, still you could do an Issa D'Rabbanan. So according to this first Shita in the Mechaber, the halacha is Chodesh Ein Bei Sakana, whether it's Sakanas Aver, whether it's not, you're allowed to do an Issa D'Rabbanan b'yadayim. First Shita.
What's the word b'yadayim adding here? Why did they have to add the word b'yadayim?
Instead of it's no, because the Talmud Guy doesn't want to say the Rabbanah.
That means
himself.
Oh,
okay. Right? Because we said before that Mir al-Akim is mutter. Everyone agrees that Mir al-Akim is mutter. Right? Everyone agrees to that. Even though the guy is doing a deraisa and it's only one shvus. So you see, there's a big difference between a shvus that a guy of a Mir al-Akim and the shvus that you're doing b'yadayim. Right, the shvus that you're doing b'yadayim is worse, is more chomer than a shvus of a Mir al-Akim. They're both shvusim. That's what it means over here. The be'issa d'Rabbanan b'yadayim means you yourself are doing the shvus. So according to the first shita, a Yisrael could do an issa d'Rabbanan himself, lav dafka a shvus, Mir al-Akim. V'yesh ha'imrim, some people hold shem yesh bei sakanas aver, oisin. If there's a sakanas aver which is more of a reason that you could be Mechal Shabbos, then you could do a Shvus b'yadayim. V'im ein bei Sakanas Aver, ein oisin. But if there's no Sakanas Aver, you can't do, Yisrael cannot do an Issa D'Rabbanan to help him out. V'yesh ha'imrim.
So in this one here, the oisin is only I'm talking about the Jew.
So yesh b'sakanas ever oisin a Yisrael. From now on, we're only talking about Yisrael. We finished with the guy. With the guy, is no difference anymore. With the guy, Amir la'akum is mutter, whether it's yesh b'sakanas ever, whether it's not, as long as it's a chili shenafal mishkav.
So all the shittas,
I'll talk about the Rabbanan. I'll talk about a Yisrael b'yadayim. All the shittas from now on are talking about Yisrael doing a malacha the Rabbanan himself. We finished with the guy already. The guy, we started off the Seif that Amir Lakim is mutter.
You do for himself for a chola.
For
not for himself.
No, for Chel.
Yeah, because you say for himself.
Yeah, by himself.
By himself. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the first one, we brought down the goy. Why?
No, that's everyone agrees to. Everyone agrees. Period. Doesn't make a difference whether it's a Shekanas Aver, whether it's not a Shekanas Aver. Once it's enough on the Mishkav, you can tell a guy.
And if it's a Deraisa?
Deraisa.
Even a Deraisa.
Even Deraisa. Amir Lakim, even with Deraisa. Yeah.
You just can't do a Deraisa.
Right. If you look at what Mr. Brewer says over here, Sif Kart Mem Zayim, Lasis Lerefua, Afilu B'Malacha Deraisa. Even Malacha Deraisa. Right? It's the same Shvus when the guy is doing it, and the same Shvus when you're doing it, and it's a Rabbanan. And that's how we split the Sif. The first part of the Sif is saying a guy, the Shvus of Amir La'akim Amatir. After that, we're talking about the Shvus of Yisrael, the Yadayim.
Just to be clear, the Amir La'akum only applies to a Chodeshi Ein Boy Sakana. In other words,
Right.
you wouldn't go down to a Chodesh, the Mikzas for...
No, we'll get to that. We're all talking about Chodesh Ein Sakana now.
Right.
We'll
So
see
in those
about the
cases
rest.
there, Amir La'akum, it would not be permissible.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
But it says here, אומרים לעקום לעשות לו רפואה, אבל אין מחללים עליו את השבת באיסור דאורייתא.
But you
You do,
You
not
can't do
the...
D'oraisa.
Yeah, okay.
But a guy can.
a guy could.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be universal. The halacha is going to be universal according to all the shittas. A guy could do a malacha d'oraisa. That shvus emud maskim is like a Shabbos. A shvus of a Yisrael b'yadayim is where we get into the machlekes hashittas.
So wait a minute, what's the universal principle of what? A kodesh ein boy sakana?
Not for the mishkav, you could tell a guy to do whatever you want. A shvus of Amir La'akim is mutter.
No, but even the deraisa is.
Shvus. It's a shvus because it's Amir La'akim. Yeah, or it becomes a shvus right away by Amir La'akim, and a shvus of Amir La'akim is mutter no matter what. Everyone agrees to it. Now the machlekes is going to be the next shittas of what Yisrael himself could do.
Right.
What the shvus.
But with the goy, you need two criteria. One is nafal mishkav and ein boy sakana, or
What do you mean?
in order for the goy to be able to do it, even at deraisa.
You need nafal mishkav.
Nafal mishkav.
Yeah, emay sakana is. We're talking about emay sakana, yeah.
Right.
That's
That's okay.
Emay sakana takes you out of sakana. What's sakana? Yeah, you could do a deraisa. You start to do a deraisa.
But we learned, let's say, some holy need a piece of meat says you're allowed to go and do shkita.
By yesh sakana. Here we're talking about emay sakana.
Oh, okay.
Here we're talking about emay sakana. So the first shita again says that v'yadayim yesh matirim afilam by sakana sever. V'yesh ha'imrim shem yesh by sakana sever oitzim ein by sakana ein oitzim. Yisrael cannot do a malacha d'Rabbanan, even though it's only a shvus. V'yesh ha'imrim shem ein by sakana sever. There's no sakana sever oitzim b'shinui. Yisrael is allowed to do malacha d'Rabbanan only b'shinui. A shvus b'shinui. If there is a sakanas aver, then Yisrael could do a malacha d'Rabbanan even without a shinui. This is the way we paskin. We'll see soon. This is the third sheet in the mechaber, and this is the way we're going to paskin. The Ramah is going to come out. This is the shita we go with. So according to this shita, let's just get it clear. Yisrael is allowed to do a shvus ayidei shinui. He's allowed to do malacha d'Rabbanan, but not the regular way. Not the regular, has to do a shinui from malacha d'Rabbanan. This is all by nafal mishkav. Sakanas aver, you don't even need a shinui. which is Sakanas Aver, then Yisrael could do Malacha D'Rabbanan even without a Shinui. Now I'm going to stop here a little bit. We'll get back to the Shita. But yes, Amen, let's see the next Shita.
The way the Rabbi just said it now, it's a D'Rabbanan. So where do you see that in the Lashon? I mean, I know that that's the halacha.
Which Lashon of what?
The Lashon that we said that it's a D'Rabbanan, but then Sakanas Aver with a Shinui, without a Shinui, in the third Shita of the Mechaber.
Right.
Where do we see it that it's a D'Rabbanan?
Yes, Amen, by Sakanas Aver, Oisen B'Shinui.
Right.
What's Oisen B'Shinui?
Right. In other words, how do we know? In other words, the Rabbi said, okay, it's a D'Rabbanan. Could maybe, in other words, could one say that this could be even a deraisa?
For what?
In other words, this idea of oisin b'shinu. Just, in other words, I know because that's how the Taz explains it. But just by looking at the words, right?
Okay.
It's unclear.
So I'll tell you why. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't want to get into this now, but maybe we'll get into it a little bit. We're going now. The Mechaber starts off. Be'isser v'chal olav Yisrael be'isser d'Rabbanan b'yadayim. For Yisrael to do an Issa D'Rabbanan b'yadayim, and then we bring all the Shittas. Yes, I mean you could do it. Yes, I mean you can't do it. Yes, I mean you could do it b'shinui.
So the starting point is
we're talking about D'Rabbanan. We're talking about D'Rabbanan.
He has a heading of this.
Right, right. The last is Yisrael Issa D'Rabbanan b'yadayim. These are the halachas.
Because his first heading is when he defines oisin, right? We're talking about there.
What's the D'Rabbanan? Right, L'chal Olav. Put a period. Affiliates with Sakanas Aver and a new thing. L'chal Olav Yisrael.
Where are you, sir?
In the Mechaber, right? I remember L'acham L'acham L'chal L'chal Shabbos B'Issa D'Oraisa. Affiliates with Sakanas Aver. Period. Now L'chal Olav Yisrael B'Issa D'Rabbanan B'Yadayim Kama. What's the halacha? Now we go through all the shittas. Yes, I remember you can do it like day Shinui.
So that becomes the header for the rest
right,
of
for the rest of the sieve, that becomes the header. This is the way most of the Achronim learn. Most of the Achronim learn this third shita that says V'yesh Oimrim.
So the first shita really is this one here, the Yesh Matir.
The first shita is Yesh Matir, right.
The first shita is
a Matir Legamri.
Yesh Matir is the first shita, not the previous one where it starts Oimrim La'ina Yehudi.
No, that's universal.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Oimrim La'ina Yehudi.
Oimrim La'ina is not. That's
it's universal. Everyone agrees to that.
Okay, so the Yesh is where we start.
The Yesh Matirim is the first shita.
Fine.
Now, so according to this shita, right, the Yesh Matirim, Yesh Oimrim, and now the third Yesh Oimrim. Right, so by Sakanas Aver is we pass on the third V'yesh Oimrim. The Ramah is going to say we pass on with the Shita Hashlishis. So now V'yesh Oimrim Shem by Sakanas Aver Oisim B'Shinui. V'yesh by Sakanas Aver Oisim B'Lo Shinui. So it comes out according to this Shita. You could do it at Sakanas Aver. Someone's going to lose a limb. You don't need a Shinui. You could do a regular D'Rabbanan. If it's not Sakanas Aver, it's Nafal Mishkav. Then you're only allowed to do it al Yidei Shinui. So I want to speak of two things over here. First of all, we see over here Oisim B'Shinui, Sakanas Aver. Pashtus are talking about Issa D'Rabbanan. Pashtus. There's a Shulchan Aruch Harav that says that according to this Shita, you're allowed to do it B'Shinui even in Issa D'Oraisa, which is a Chiddush. Because the Pashtus where we
just explained it.
The way we just explained it is where most of the Achronim learn. Oisim B'Shinui means Issa D'Rabbanan you're allowed to do B'Shinui.
The Shulchan Aruch Harav.
The Shulchan Aruch Harav says that Nafal Mishkav Oisim B'Shinui means even a Malacha D'Oraisa. He doesn't say where he gets it from. I don't know if he learns it into these words of the Mechaber or not. But the Shulchan Aruch Harav says that a Chodesh Emei Sakana he paskins. If you look at Shulchan Aruch Harav, it's going to look through it. Sif Cotton your test and Sif Cotton Chaf. Sif, not Sif Cotton, Sif. Shulchan Aruch Harav and this Siman, Sif your test and Sif Chaf. It's going to look through it. So he says over there, you're allowed to do a Malacha D'Oraisa B'Shinui, which is a big kula. What's coming out over here is Matir, one Shvus. What's a Malacha D'Oraisa B'Shinui? It's a regular Shvus. Shulchan Aruch Harav is Matir it. Now, most poskim don't go to Shulchan Aruch Harav. They say you have to do it with the Rabbanan B'Shinui. But they say But Mokam Hadchak, if you have a choice, you could be Seif on the Shulchan Aruch Harav. With a Deraisa, B'Shinui. Which is the big heter. And I'll tell you what heter comes today a lot. The heter comes today a lot with electricity. Electricity is a shadow of the Deraisa D'Rabbanan. How do we look at electricity? So for Chodesh Eibay Sakana, if you could do it electricity with a Shinui, that's a big heter. It's a big heter. The beds, everything, the lights, anything you want. For Chodesh Eibay Sakana, you'll have a big heter of a Deraisa Ayedei Shinui, the Shulchan Aruch Harav. I was telling you about the Shulchan Aruch Harav, Halacha L'Maisa, when it comes to Negeya, you have to ask the local competent Orthodox rabbi, but it's good to know about the Shulchan Aruch Harav. That's one thing. B, another very important thing about this is the Mishnah Berurah later on, it's Sif Cotton Kuf Beis. Look in the Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Yud Beis.
Which one?
Sif Cotton Kuf Beis. Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Kuf Beis. So later on, it's on Sif Lamed Beis. Yeah. So he says here at the end, he brings down here. Look at the last line. V'ayin sham le'el da'al yidei Yisrael muter dafka al yidei shinui. He says, look over there and see if you're Zion. But al yidei Yisrael, see the last line, Kuf Beis, the last line. It says Chai Adam. Ches Aleph, it says V'ayin sham.
Right.
V'ayin sham le'el da'al yidei Yisrael muter dafka al yidei shinui. Ach, ha'chai Adam masuk sham. Dem I efshe b'shinui, muter shaloi b'shinui. It's mutter without a shinui. So if you come to a situation on Shabbos that's a chodesh eibay sakana and it is an issur d'Rabbanan, and for some reason you can't do the issur d'Rabbanan b'shinui. Says the Mishnah Berurah b'Shas Chak, you can be seimich on the Chai Adam and do it even without a shinui. It's a big heter to use. So even though we're going to pass like the Yesh Oimrim over here, that whole dafka b'shinui, if you can't do it b'shinui, you have the Chai Adam that's proving later on to be Semicha on the Hakam.
But there's a big difference between doing something that is Drabanan b'shinui or without a shinui and jumping to a deraisa.
Yeah, of course.
Those are
Drabanan b'shinui, Drabanan shaloi b'shinui.
In other words, if I understand what we just said, the Shulchan Aruch Harav
is a big heter.
Is a much that's a bigger jump up.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so it's not that we're using from the Chai Adam here to show that this is the source of the Shulchan Aruch Harav. Shulchan Harav is basically saying you can even do a deraisa.
A deraisa b'shinui.
You're just saying you don't have to do a shinui.
You can do a deraisa b'shinui, correct. And he's saying that the Rabbanan shaloi b'shinui. Yeah, the Rabbanan shaloi b'shinui.
The Rabbanan without a shinui.
The Pashtus is more kal than a deraisa b'shinui. The Rabbanan shaloi b'shinui is more kal.
These are two.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, because the paisa will be easier seimich on the Chai Adam than to be seimich on the Shulchan Aruch Harav. Than to be seimich on the Shulchan Aruch Harav. I'll tell you another reason why. If you look in the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Katan Nun Aleph, also a very important Mishnah Berurah. Over here by us, Sif Katan Nun Aleph at the end. Kosa b'chai Adam. Kol davar shemut lasas ayidei Yisrael b'chayli shein by sakana afilu yachal lasas ayidei any Yehudi mutter. Right, the last line in Sif Katan Nun Aleph. Anything kosa b'chai Adam kol davar shemut lasas ayidei Yisrael b'chayli shein by sakana afilu yachal lasas ayidei any Yehudi mutter. Even though you could do it through a guy, you don't have to use a guy. You can use it a Yisrael. Now here, the Achronim are very busy. They don't understand. We had the whole machlokes before, by Chodesh Esh Sakana, that a Yisrael is allowed to do Malach Deraisa. So if you come onto a guy, the guy could do it. Should you do it through a guy? Should you not do it through a guy? Machlekes Mechaber, the Ramah, Sif Yud Beis, right? The Ramah says if you could use a guy, it's better to use a guy. And here we're saying you don't have to bother with the guy. Let the Yisrael do it himself. What's the difference?
Well, here we're talking about Chodesh Ein Bo Sakana.
Chodesh Ein Bo Sakana, and there's Yesh Bo Sakana. They would say you should use a guy, and they would say you don't have to bother with the guy. Here's the Chodesh Ein Bo Sakana. Would say don't bother with the guy. And before Chodesh Yesh Bo Sakana, the Ramah says if you could do it with the guy, better do it with the guy. Why is that? So the Chayim answer that they were talking about Malachas Deraisas. Malachas Deraisas, it was a Deraisa, there's a child of Hutra, child of Tchuya. Here we're talking about Shvusim. We're talking about Issa D'Rabbanan. By Issa D'Rabbanan, then everyone agrees that it's Hutra. Why? Because the Rabbanan never said they're Shvusim for Mocha and Chodesh Ein Bo Sakana. The Rabbanan never made Gzeirus of Issa Shvusim in the case of Chodesh Ein Bo Sakana. You can't say that in the Geya Issa D'Raisa. In the Issa D'Raisa, it's a Machlokes, it's a Hutra Tchuya in the Geya Shabbos. But in Issa D'Rabbanan, we could say when the Rabbanan came and they made their Isurim, they never said it in the Geya Chodesh Ein Bo Sakana. They never don't even bother with the Yisrael. Don't even bother with the guy, I mean. Don't even bother with the guy. So we see from over here that that's only by Issa D'Rabbanans. By Malacha D'Raisa, they Shinui, it could be it's worse. Could be it's worse. Okay, so that's the Mechaber, the three shittas in the Mechaber. The Yesh Oimrim, a fourth shitta.
So, on these three shittas that we just now spoke about, the Shulchan Aruch Rabbah and both the Chayei Adam, is within the third shitta of...
Within the third shitta. Everything within the third shitta.
All within the third.
Yeah, because only Mutar Yidei Shinui. Right? It's only Mutar Yidei Shinui. Chayei Adam says, if you can't do a Shinui, you can do a regular Siddur Rabbanan, and the Shulchan Aruch Rabbah is a bigger heter, that even a Deraisa Yidei Shinui is Mutar. Says the Mechaber Vayta, V'yesh Oimrim, Afilu Yesh Bo Sakanas Eiver, Ein Oisin Lei Davar, Shehi Nismach LeMalacha Deraisa. Even if Sakanas Eiver, this is the third shita, which the fourth shita that says that if it has a smach deraisa of the Rabbanan that has a smach deraisa, and they give examples here. The Magen Avraham Seif Kohen the Gimel says Kohen Koichel Shukakosiv Koichel Yal put Chal is like a medicine in your eyes because it's like Koichel, like writing as you put it on. Alas is a full Besam. The Gilmechers Chitz Salmonim you're worried about grinding. Any Issa D'Rabbanan that has a smach mid'oraisa, there you cannot do it on Shabbos. But Dvarim She'ein Be'em Smach Malacha, there's no Smach Malacha D'Oraisa. Oisin Afilu Ein Bo Sakanas Eiver. That is the fourth shita. I don't want to get involved in all the cases, what it means, because we don't pass in that way. It says the Mechaber, V'divrei Hasvara Hashlishis Nirin. We hold like the third shita. What's the third shita? Says the Magen Avraham. Sivkat Yudalid Hasvara Hashlishis Hainu She'oisin B'Shinui V'tuk V'Poiskim V'Timtzeh Sh'Megdoyle HaPoiskim V'Divrei Abach Tzarech Ian. So the Magen Avraham says in Sivkat Yudalid Svara Hashlishis means the shita of Shinui. Not like the Bach, if you look in the Taz, you've cut in your Beis. V'divrei Hasvara Hashlishis says the Taz, Nirin, Mashma, the Mashma that's for Ramban. The Ramban is the one, the shita that holds that you could do a Goya Yedei Shinui. Sheideya Hashlishis, Umoyri Chomiz al Pirish, Dala Rambam Koi. We're going on the Rambam, which is our fourth shita. Why do you say that for? So he Svoras Yesh Oimrim Hashlishis. Right? It's the third Yesh Oimrim.
Moira is the Bach?
Moira Chomi is the Bach, yeah. The Taz's following was the Bach.
Yeah.
Now the Rambam Koi, she Svoras Yesh Oimrim Hashlishi. For the Choshev Dei Rishayim, the Han Yesh Matirim. Elal Gimel Yesh Oimrim's Koi. V'chem Mashman Belavush. For the Dan Olam Apirish Kach. For the Nefarish Im Dei Kamaisa. Why should we go with the first Shita? For Su, the Imkin Hoyle Loimer Redivrei Svoras Zois Nirin. Not the third shita, we just left off with the fourth shita. Say the last one I just said is the one I passed on like. Kivin da Allah koi. Al-Kochach Nil Feizati, Kipshuta da Ramban koi. We're going with the Ramban, which is the third shita of the Mechaber. That's the way you're passing. So this is all talking about a chayli she'ein by sakana. That's enough on the mishkav. You do it with a shinui, the rabbanon with a shinui. Let's see here the Magen Avram. Let's see if you got in your base. Afilu ein boy. Mashma the kolshkik sheyesh by sakanas aver. The mutter afilu ein a chayla shekayla kal aguf. Right? A chayla enough on the mishkav means its whole body is sick. A person is sick, has a fever, is running a fever, his whole body is sick. It's called chayli shenaf al mishkav. Sakanas aver, says the Magen Avram, it's not chayli kal aguf. Right? Someone who has a broken finger, let's say, or a hand, whatever it is, it's not chayli kal aguf. He may be in pain by his hand, and he may lose that limb. You're allowed to be mechal Shabbos when this is the rabbanon. It's a kolshkin from chayli kal gufay. V'zeh shelo yitiru lichol element akim. Ad kam l'shoynoi. Pirish she'ein ve'ever sakana. Says the Magen Mishnah, there's a whole Gemara with a Meimar. The Meimar had a problem with his eye, and he didn't let Yisrael put the chal, which is Nisa de Rabbanon. The chal didn't let him put the medication on. Only Nisa de Rabbanon. He said we have to do it from a goy. Now the question is, if he was going to lose his eye, then it's Sakana Sefer. So why do you have to go to a goy? Why couldn't Yisrael put the medication on himself? So he says over there, Pirish Ein Be'ever Sakana. That case, the eye was not B'Sakana. The like B'S Yosef that learns differently, he learns that the whole person wasn't B'Sakana. V'chein Kosa Magen Mishnah Achakach. Ava Malacha Gemura B'Yisrael Le'Hutra Afilu B'Sakanas Ever. He's being another raya that Sakanas Ever is more lenient than a Chaylish Shenaf al Mishkav. Umashma the Shvus Mutter B'Sakanas Ever. From ein by Sakanas Ever, there's no Sakanas Ever, then Mutterai de Akum. It's mutter through a goy. Now why is it mutter through a goy? Why in the case of a Maimer was it mutter through a goy? It wasn't Sakanas Ever. He had a problem with his eye, an eye infection, and it's Mutterai de goy. If it's not Sakanas Ever, and it's not Chayli Kal Gufay, so who's just allowed to do anything? Behind over the Maimer, because of Siman Zayin Sifei, Shvus the Shvus, Shari b'mixas chayli. A Shvus the Shvus is mutter by mixas chayli. What does it mean over here? He spoke about it already at the beginning of the Siman. We're going to do a quick chazar on this. That case was a mixas chayli. Now a mixas chayli we had in Siman Zayin. A Shvus the Shvus is mutter. A goy to do an Issa de Rabbanan is mutter by a mixas chayli. What's a mixas chayli? Case over here is his eye was hurting him. What?
Yeah.
The eye was hurting him.
Wrote that down in case of whether he was a Messiah or not.
Correct. Right, that was the Taz in the beginning. Yeah, so he was a mixas chayli. And what's a mixas chayli? A mixas chayli is somebody who has an eye infection, let's say, which is not a sakana. Not a sakana's aver, and not a sakana's nefashos, of course. So a mixas chayli will matter a shvus, the shvus, which means a goy to do an issa de rabbanan, and we had that in Siman Zayin. Now one thing I want to speak out over here. We cannot mix up a shvus the shvus with a shvus ayadei shinui. Yeah. A shvus ayadei shinui is more chomer than a shvus the shvus. We said that by a nafal mishkav, what do we hold? We have like the day shlishis. The day shlishis holds what's mutter? A shvus ayadei shinui. People make this mistake very often. And they say, the Rabbanan with a shinui is a shvus the shvus. It's not true. Now the Rabbanan with a shinui is more chomer than a shvus the shvus. A guy doing an issa the Rabbanan is a shvus the shvus. That's more lenient. That's why by mixas chayli, we saw in Siman Zayin, a shvus the shvus is mutter. A guy to do an issa the Rabbanan is mutter. For Yisrael to do a Rabbanan al-Edei Shinui is also by mixas chayli. Because it's not called a shvus to shvus. It's more chomer than a shvus to shvus. A shvus al-Edei Shinui is more chomer than a shvus to shvus. And therefore, a dairaisa al-Edei Shinui, like we had before the Shulchan Aruch Harav, is more chomer than a regular Rabbanan. The shinui does not make it into a regular shvus. A malacha al-yedei shinui doesn't give it a label of a shvus. It's a more kal dika malacha, but doesn't give it the coolest of a shvus. So a shvus of the rabbanan al-yedei shinui is not a shvus to shvus. Or the raisa al-yedei shinui doesn't become a shvus. Right? We said the chai adam is matter shvus. If you can't do a shvus al-yedei shinui, he's not matter the raisa al-yedei shinui. Why not? It's a regular shvus. It's not. A malacha al-yedei shinui does not give it the same level of leniency as a regular shvus. Very important to know. This comes up all the time. This mistake. A malacha deraisa al-yedei shinui does not automatically become a shvus.
You see, it doesn't kind of automatically, but sometimes it does.
It's not a regular shvus. It's more common than a regular drabanan.
I've heard these things that people will say. Even if it's deraisa, if it's done as with a shinui,
it's a regular shvus. It's not true. It's not a regular shvus. Then the chai adam.
I don't know the exact story. This is Ma'aser Rav. I mean, I heard.
One second. Before the Ma'aser Rav, the chai adam says malacha drabanan you could do by chol shem etzakana. He's not matter deraisa al-yedei shinui. Why not? The same shvus. It's the same shvus. Why is it matter? Why is it matter deraisa al-yedei shinui? Now what's the Ma'aser Rav?
It was Rav Kotler in the lights went out in the yeshiva,
Yeah.
Beis Medrash.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Okay.
So he told the guy to use his elbow to turn on the light for the bachrim.
Okay. So first of all, who says it's a?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's the Ma'aser Rav.
Even if it did, but who says maybe he's
used the idea of telling the guy to do it with an elbow.
Right. So there's two things. First of all, it could be it was a shvus anyway, because how electricity really may be a drabanan. A. B. It could be an echanami. For that, you don't need a regular shvus to shvus. Even a shvus of a goy with a shinui is enough. And you have to know the levels, what you matter.
Right.
Yeah, you have to know what levels you matter. But you can't compare a malacha deraisa b'shinui to every shvus. If a matter shvusim, you can't say therefore malacha deraisa with the shinui also a matter.
Because the other thing is, let's say, for example, when a person writes with his other hand, right?
Correct.
So does that change the person's
according to this,
when a person has to write in the hospital, right?
That's right. If a person has to write in the hospital, a doctor has to write a prescription,
right?
Right? If it's a choli she'ein by sakana, it's not so simple as allowed to do that. A choli she'ein by sakana, for a doctor to write with his left hand or b'shivim, whatever it is, it's not so simple as mutter. You have to come with a shulchan aruch to be matter that.
Right.
And that a person will be matter in such a case.
Because ksiva has a special halacha. In other words, by ksiva, shinui is not enough to take it out of the category of ksiva. But shinui would be enough to, if, let's say, for you have a different kind of a.
Okay, by turning a light, they say the shinui may not make a difference because it doesn't change how you turn the light. By ksiva, there's more of a shinui. By ksiva, it's more of a shinui. Right with the left hand, that's a shinui. It's a whole different writing.
Right, but is that enough to? You know, if a person writes two letters with his left hand, is that enough
to
say that it's a drabanan?
Yeah, could be. It could be, but it's not a regular shvus. There's a person they'll tell you that if you do without a prescription, you don't have to write a prescription. The guy can walk into the pharmacy and say, "Do Phil, I need this medication. I don't have the prescription. You should try to do without that."
Right. And practically speaking, I know that's what we. It's better to use a phone, right, to call in rather than writing.
A phone, but because what a phone is, it could be a regular shvus. It could be a phone is a regular shvus. Writing b'shinui is the right side of shinui. Writing b'shinui, you have to come out to shulchan aruch.
Right.
Using a phone, you have the chai adam.
Right.
So there's different. You can't compare shvus the right side of shinui to a regular shvus. Same thing, you can't compare a mir la'akin to a malacha d'rabanan shvus to shvus al-yedei shinui through Yisrael. A malacha al-yedei shinui does not constitute automatically a shvus, extra shvus. Doesn't mean that. It's a different level. It's more chomer. So that's why a shvus to shvus by miktas chayli we matter a shvus to shvus. We're not matter a shvus al-yedei shinui. Why not? They're both shvus to shvusim. That's what it's not true. A shvus al-yedei shinui is not a regular shvus to shvus.
So is it something to do if you're going to the hospital to request a non-Jewish doctor?
Sure. To write it for sure. Yeah.
So, if you're going
if you get a non-Jewish doctor to write the prescription, you definitely should do that. Because it's a goy, it's Chodesh She'en Bei Sakana. But if it's a Chodesh She'en Bei Sakana, you don't have to worry about it. It's a Chodesh She'en Bei Sakana. It's much better than a goy doctor to write out the prescription. Why? Because everyone's masking Amir La'akim is mutter. Shvus Amir La'akim is mutter. If you have to come out to a Jewish doctor, it's better not to use a prescription. If you have no choice, then you can rely on the Shulchan Aruch Harav. You have to ask your rabbi. But that would be the heter. That would be the heter. So it's very important to know this chiluk. Shvus to shvus by a mixas chayli is mutter, but a shvus ayidei shinui is not mutter. And now we had in Shin Zayin, right, the Magen Avram says, there's another level here, mitztayer harbe. Someone who's in a lot of pain. Mitztayer harbe we saw in Magen Avram in Shin Zayin, Sif Hey. He says a mitztayer harbe is mutter a shvus ayidei shinui. Not a shvus to shvus, it's matter even a shvus ayidei shinui. Right, Shin Zayin, the Magen Avram says that a mixas chayli is mutter a shvus to shvus. Says the Magen Avram, the ilu b'chayla mamish ha'chayla kol ha'guf ha'sheish by sakanas ever afil Yisrael ois a shvus l'chud. For shvus like a darka, with the shvus ayidei shinui, afilu b'mitztayer shari, even a mitztayer is mutter. So we have here, right now we have many different levels. I'll make a quick recap on all the levels. Right, the Magen Avram finishes out with we have mechish ba'alma afilu ayidei akum also. So we have many different levels. We have here a mechish ba'alma. A mechish ba'alma, which is the lowest level, which is someone who has a headache, not a migraine headache, a regular pashut headache, or mechish ba'alma, then it's also to do anything. Not even a mir al-akim, not even a shvus to shvus, everything is also. The next level is a mixas chayli. A mixas chayli means he's a little bit sick, but not mitztayer harbe. He's not a mitztayer harbe, he's a mixas chayli. Over there, the Mechaber says in Shin Zayin Sif Hey, a shvus to shvus is mutter. A mir al-akim, to do an issa d'Rabbanan, is mutter. Mixas chayli. Mitztayer harbe, someone's in a lot of pain, the halacha is a shvus ayidei shinui is mutter. A shvus ayidei shinui is mutter. Nafal mishkav, which is our sif, we paskin a shvus ayidei shinui is mutter. So if you remember when we learned it at the beginning, someone asked over here, I think it was you, what's the chiluk between a mitztayer harbe and our sif of Chodesh She'en Bei Sakana? They're both mutter a shvus ayidei shinui. So what's the difference between our sif of a nafal mishkav and a mitztayer harbe? They're both mutter shvus ayidei shinui. The answer is, so we just spoke, big chilukim. First, the one chiluk is, if you can't do it ayidei shinui, is a mutter to do regular? You have the Chai Adam's heter in our sif. I don't know if you have the Chai Adam's heter by mitztayer harbe. Another nafkamin is Shulchan Aruch Harav. But the rice ayidei shinui. I don't know if you have the heter by mitztayer harbe. Mitztayer harbe, we said, it's mutter shvus ayidei shinui. I don't know if it's mutter anything more than that. There'll be more nafkaminis, which we'll see later on in the Siman. Just one more level, two more levels. The next level is Sakanas Aver. Sakanas Aver, the halacha is, you don't have to do shinui. A regular shvus is mutter.
And afilu by Israel.
Yeah, sure. And then you have Sakanas Nefashos, which we had already, everything is mutter. Those are the different levels. I think we just said 6 levels?
5.
6.
How do you have 6?
Mechish, Mixtas Chayli,
Yeah.
Mitztayer, Nafla Mishkav, Sakanas Aver, and Sakanas Nefashos.
Right. So because mitztayer harb is you're saying it's its own category?
It's not have its own category. I'll tell you, I said one nafkamina, I'm going to tell you another nafkamina now. One nafkamina is, if you can't do ayidei shinui. I don't know if it's had to do with the regular issa d'Rabbanan, regular shvus. Another nafkamina is, we'll see later on in the Siman, it comes up a lot, this shayla. We're saying over here now, I think we spoke to Salos in the beginning, we said now that a nafal mishkov is a mutter of shvus ayidei shinui. How about for him to take medication? For a chodesh nafal mishkav to take medication, which is the shvus. What's the shvus? It's Issa D'Rabbanan to take medication. Now it's gzeirus shchikas hamamonim. So it's Issa D'Rabbanan. Could a nafal mishkav take medication regular without a shinui?
We said yes.
So we said
that the gzeir only begins from below a.
So we said that the Mishnah Berurah brings down a Sif cotton.
So that would be the difference.
Yeah, not enough, which is not so partial. We'll get there. One second. Don't drop the gun yet. Right, the Mishnah Berurah in Sif cotton Kuf Chaf Aleph, I think it is. Yeah, says from a Radvaz. There's enough for the Mishka of Shari, Pirish Lecha, which has the verbs aim Dakar Dekabrim, like what Stims Tivahir Mo Mashma, to ain't Sarach, a filler Shayi Ali Day Moishit Loy, and the Mutlikach Ba'atmoi. Ba'afagav the Peskin of Elsi Fidzayin Kadei Gimel, to Shvush Yesh by Maisa, Osai De Israel, the Aine Mutter Kim Ali De Shinui, a Shvush is on the Mutter De Shinui, to Chloim the Shani Hassam, Shemai B'Melachas de Rabbana with Vorm Shemexik and Melacha. Aval hacha the Eivazem Shemesrach Melacha, Talabari Mutter, Verakle Mishiyesh Le Mechish Gazru, Mishum, Shchikas Hamamonim, Mechoyle Gomer like Gazru, Badvaz. So the Mishnah Berurah says over there that the Gezeir of Shchikas Hamamonim we didn't make on a Nafal HaMishkav. We only made it on a Mechish Ba'alma. On a Nafal HaMishkav we didn't make this. We'll see later, we'll see as we learn the Siman. There's a lot of the Primogodim, the Achrein have lots of kashas. So we find a lot of times they were matir or shvuos without a shinui for chodesh yom esakana, and they all ask, "What do you mean?" We said over here in Sif, we paskin, you need a shvuos only with a shinui. So how come we're constantly matir shvuos without a shinui? In the Bab Tzarchi, and they give terutzim. According to this Mishnah Berurah, and Til David says it a bunch of times, it's not a kasha, because any shvuos that's only also because the Shchikas Hamamonim will make us to do it even without a shinui. By a Nafal HaMishkav. That's by a Nafal HaMishkav. The Mishnah Berurah over here goes from one extreme to the other extreme. It says by Nafal HaMishkav we didn't make the Gzeira, only by a Mechish Ba'alma. How about everything in between? We had two levels in between. We had Miktas Chayli and we had Star Harvey. What happened to those levels in between? Did they make the Gzeira there or not? So some Achronim are dying for the Mishnah Berurah one way, and they say that B'chayla Gomer like Godzru is his lashon only by Chayla Gomer. Some of them are dying the ratio of the Mishnah Berurah that says Rak l'mishesh l'mechesh Godzru. To steer him. Rak l'mishesh l'mechesh Godzru, and then he ends up saying, but Chayla Gomer like Godzru. So which part do we take literally? The first part or the second part? The most of the Achronim hold that the only time we lifted the Gezeira was by a Nafal HaMishkav, a Chayli Gomer. But a Mitzvah Harbe, a Mitzvah Chayli, we're not going to be matir Shchikas HaMamonim. The Gezeira of Shchikas HaMamonim, that shvus, we're not going to be matir. That'll be another nafkamina.
Can you do a chazar on who should be doing these diagnoses? In other words,
What do you mean?
In other words, who decides if in which category you are? Does it have to be yourself?
It's a doctor.
What if
the doctor decides?
So it can't be your wife, for example. You know, who's saying?
Depends if you're the doctor. No, decide what school would start having you. I mean, the truth is, the way to say every person is different. One person would start harbe, for the next person, it's not so bad.
Okay. So does that mean that in any case it's mutter to go to a doctor if you're not feeling well on Shabbos?
Yes, only if you're conscious that it may be a serious thing.
Well, how do you know? I mean, you may have a headache. It might be the first sign of a stroke or something.
If it's conscious, it's the first time. Usually a young guy who has a headache, it's not the signs of a stroke. Usually the young guy is having a headache, he has a headache. You have to, some people.
It's a one-time headache.
Some people, taka have, as they call it, nervin. That anytime there's a little thing that's bothering them, they think they're dying, right? So then the family, such people, taka, they may have a time to go to doctors quicker.
But even if it's on Shabbos, like even if it's
even on Shabbos, because that person automatically becomes enough of a mishkav, he can't live. He's so nervous about what this thing is, so he becomes enough of a mishkav. It can't be even into the rice. They can't be evidence of the Raisa.
Well, I mean, if you're calling an ambulance, it's going to be an
No, so that's a problem. You have to know. You have to be careful with that. You have to call an ambulance for every little thing.
So the other question is there some kind of heter more for children? Because a child...
I'll see soon. Yeah, children's definitely more heter, we'll see soon. For children, it's definitely more heter. If a child's in pain and you have no idea what it is, then you could bring him to a doctor without a problem. For the child, you don't know. He can't explain what's bothering him. A child that has a fever, they say right away, bring him to a doctor. No questions. No questions.
So it's very hard to distinguish between a mitzvah harbe and
a mixtas chayli.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble with that.
It is. A mixtas chayli means a person is...
You see, at the end of the day, a chodesh ein b'sakana, if you use the definition of neifel l'mishkav, even if it's k'mehalach b'kabari, but you know that person is a migrant. If he could, he would lie down.
Right.
Might even apply even to someone who sprained his ankle, can't go to shul.
No, sprained his ankle is not a chayli kal gufay.
No, but didn't we say that if a person,
when nafel l'mishkav machmas chayli means his body is weak because of it. Not that he can't walk because his foot's broken.
He has a swollen ankle.
Swollen ankle is not called because he has to lie in bed because he can't walk on his foot. He's not lying in bed because his whole body is weak. It's a big difference.
No, because we said, I thought I heard...
The same thing would happen in his hand.
He said he can't go to shul, so I think...
I didn't make because he can't walk. Right, because his feels weak.
Oh, so
he's weak and he stays home.
So but not just being physically in bed.
No, a guy has I know how to want that upside down wart at the bottom of my foot. I couldn't walk. I couldn't go to shul even. It's not called nafel mishkav. It's glad it happens to be that thing is on the bottom of your foot and you can't walk.
That's not...
no, it's not nafel mishkav, no.
No, because at the beginning we said the person said that it's not going to shul.
Not going to because he's weak. Not going to because of a sickness.
So then that makes it even easier. So then anything that really, you would be in bed. You have a pneumonia, you have flu.
Correct, 100%. 100%. Pneumonia, flu, these things are all chodesh ein b'sakana, nafel mishkav.
Temperature?
High temperature, these things are all nafel mishkav.
Rabbi, is it correct to say that the last 4 levels are all chodesh ein b'sakana?
Everything.
Yeah, there are
everything.
just 4 different levels of chodesh ein.
Correct, everything.
The first 2 levels are chodesh ein b'sakana.
Which first 2?
No.
Going the reverse.
No. Sakhanas Ever is not a Sakhanas Nefashos. Sakhanas Ever means you're talking about Ever is only the Ever. If there's a chashash that Ever could affect the rest of the body, we saw before, that's called a Pekuach Nefesh.
So you're saying that the Sakhanas Ever and Sakhanas Nefashos are the last 2?
No, Sakhanas Ever is nothing to do with Sakhanas Nefashos. Sakhanas Ever is a broken arm, let's say.
So that's
if you don't fix it right away, you can actually lose his arm.
Chodesh ein b'sakana is...
It's all chodesh ein b'sakana.
Except for the first one.
Except for the first one.
So the problem with categorizing it like that is that most of the time the way the poskim write is that they refer to chodesh ein b'sakana as the category on its own, which is equal to nofel l'mishkav. The others are going to be mixes choler or mechush balma.
Right.
Because the Mechaber himself writes mechush balma as his category, and then there's another category called... So of course...
Nafel l'mishkav. It's called nafel l'mishkav. Don't call chodesh ein b'sakana.
Right.
That's called nafel l'mishkav. Everything is chodesh ein b'sakana.
Right.
We're going to call nafel l'mishkav. That's the category.
That should be the... Right.
Yeah, that's a nafel l'mishkav. Nafel l'mishkav means he's bedridden. He's like a perfect example. Flu and pneumonia, all these things, they're not Pekuach Nefesh, even though some of them could be Pekuach Nefesh, but most of them aren't, but they're called the chodesh ein b'sakana. You could do a goy, you could tell a goy to do a malacha deraisa for you, if you need it. Mechush ba'alma but someone has a swollen ankle, for example. That's not called that's a mechush ba'alma. If it's mitzvah harbe, then that's something else. Any pain in a secluded place is not called chodesh nafel mishkav, unless because of that his whole body is weak and affects his whole body.
So when it comes to another tricky category, what does it mean? How do we interpret chodesh Sakhanas Ever?
Yeah.
Sakhanas Ever today is going to lose an Ever, lose a tooth.
So a couple things. If you're going to lose an Ever, chances are that you're going to be a chodesh ein b'sakana.
It depends. So that's the question.
It's hard to imagine what that means. Correct. Now, if you mean, let's say you have a broken arm and you're going to lose function of that arm if you don't deal with it.
Right. That's what's Sakhanas Ever. That's Sakhanas Ever.
It's not Sakhanas Nefesh.
No. Yisrael cannot. You can't go to a Jewish doctor to put it in place.
Can or can't?
That's the question. A Jewish doctor put it in place. The question what you're doing.
Say that a person with a broken leg right, is, I'm just
the person with a broken leg, it's Sakana Sefer. Unless you're going to say, maybe internal bleeding, so it may affect something else, then you have to know. But if you know it's not a Sakana Nefashos, so it's Sakana Sefer.
So that's a question. How far? If you got a broken leg and you don't mend it, then right away, the chances are it's going to create, even if it's not, you eliminate, even if it's just some sort of...
You don't correct it till after Shabbos, so maybe it won't heal as well.
Correct.
But it's not Pekuch Nefesh.
It's not a Pekuch.
It's not Pekuch Nefesh.
It doesn't give you what to do on Shabbos.
But it's going to have to do on Shabbos, but the only heter would be is, then what are you doing?
What if it's a child?
Even a child.
Right. I'll tell you the most common reason that I get asked to do something on Shabbos is pulled elbow.
See, it's not fit.
The most common reason, hands down.
So there the question is, what Issa are you doing? What Issa are you putting it back?
Can you bend it?
No, so the question is binyan. The question is maybe binyan, maybe it's the Rabbanon. But in those cases, basically you'll have the heter that says this is the Rabbanon, right? And it's Mistayr Harbe.
Yeah.
First one is definitely Mistayr Harbe. I wouldn't call it a Sakana Sefer.
Well, they can't use their Aver when it's happening.
Right, but Sakana Sefer means, the person won't be able to use it. Yeah, won't be able to use it, period. Doesn't mean that. Sakana means Sakana, you'll lose the Aver. So never be able to use it again. So, but putting it back into place, after what the Isser is. Dislocated elbow or shoulder, right? They come on Shabbos. What the heter is to put it in.
Would you at least have to do it with the Shinuim?
Question could do with the Shinuim. I don't think it's possible to do with the Shinuim. Yeah, it's not possible to do with the Shinuim. It's possible to do with the Shinuim.
Not well.
No, you can't do with the Shinuim.
That means that you're not doing it right.
No, you can't do with the Shinuim.
There's a right way to do it. If you do it with the Shinuim, he's not going to go back in.
Uses this other hand.
But if a person is in such pain, because of it, it's called the Nafal HaMishkav. If the person with that pain, a kid especially, he can't do anything. First, a kid who has that, right?
We just said 5 minutes ago that the person with the sprained ankle
can't walk
anywhere. Not the outside.
No, but he can't walk. That's his pain. If he's in bed, if he's in bed, he's fine. If he's lying in bed, his ankle is fine.
Right?
He just can't walk. Fine, but not in so much pain. A kid with dislocated elbow is in terrible pain.
Not really.
They just don't move it.
It hurts when they do it for a second, but then afterwards they just hold it.
They can walk around.
Okay, so you have to know.
They play with the other hand.
Okay, so if that's the case, you have to know if Yisrael's allowed to do it on Shabbos. It could be Yisrael's not allowed to fix it on Shabbos. You have to ask a rabbi. It could be better to get a guy to do it.
And the issue is binyan?
Huh? You have the issue would be. We have it later on that to be miyashva the Evorim, to fix the Evorim, maybe a Xeral's opinion. Have it later on.
The anatomy is not even, you're not doing an Aver, it's literally a ligament that has to just be, you have to push it over, it's no miyad, it's not like setting a bone.
So I'm not sure, I don't know what Allah would be in that case. I can check into it if you want. Once to putting back an Aver, which the kid is not in pain.
Not in pain.
The kid is not in pain.
It's painful to do it. To put it back causes pain.
Right.
But then right after you do it, they can use their arm normally.
And why can't wait till after Shabbos? They could wait till after Shabbos.
Sometimes if you wait longer, it's harder to fix.
So that's a Sakana
Sefer. The longer you wait, the harder it is to fix.
So what does it mean? It's Sakana Sefer, it's more painful to fix it?
It takes longer to get back. Sometimes it's very hard to fix. And maybe you have to be in a sling for a few days after.
And it could be you can't use it like I used to use Aver?
Yeah. Not forever. I've never heard of that.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know what the answer. I'm not sure. It's a good example. I'll try and check into it. Putting back a dislocated.
I think it's important for a man to know.
Yeah.
There's number one.
Maybe it's better you shouldn't know.
Is there no non-Jewish doctor on the street?
The sign on the door, I'm not Jewish doctor.
Let me check into it. The kid's not in pain.
There's no Isra. I never thought.
The kid's not in pain, and it's not Sakana Sefer.
It is Sakana Sefer. He says that it could be very hard for him.
No, eventually the Aver will get back to normal if you wait.
The thing is losing your Aver forever.
No.
It's just harder to fix.
Hard to fix, okay, but it's not Sakana Sefer. I don't know. Let me check into it. It's not the Shiloh. Okay. Oh, 39:30. Okay. I want to finish the Seif. The last Seif is also very important. Yeah, the end of the Seif is about cotton. It's very important on Allah also.
what?
But a cotton is more. It's more kal to do malacha b'kal. Okay, we'll stop here by the Ramah. The question is, do we learn next week? Yeah. Hashan Rabbah. Is anybody ready to learn Hashan Rabbah?
Wait, later. It's going to be late.
A little later?
It's going to be late.
What's good later? 9:30?
Maybe even 10.
10? I could do as late as you want. I'm not around.
What time is start here, like the first one?
7.
7. So it's still 10 is going to be okay?
Yeah, go on.
Even the 8 o'clock minyan, we probably won't be finished. We could have maybe by 9:30.
No, it's very long.
Hashan Rabbah, hour and a half? We're heading it down.
No, it's very long.
What's that?
It's like sleep is
2 hours.
3 o'clock.
Okay, so that's
So 7 o'clock they have
7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do it next week. We'll do the Ramah. We'll do another 2-3 season maybe. And I'll try to get back to you with that child, the dislocated shoulder. I remember.
Is it legal problem?
I remember speaking about it. I remember what the psak was.